You know, the haters for the last year have been dead wrong about yield max. And isn't that the way in life? Usually they're wrong your whole life. I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about how yield max gave us years, literally, has given my wife and I years versus other funds we're going to get into prior to yield max, and the tactics we're going to employ when the eventual downturn happens in the market for a prolonged period, and the tactics we're using because we know that over the course of time, yield max funds will decrease in share price along with their dividends and reverse split. You know, preventative measures, my friends. This is Mike, the tactical stock scalper. All right, baby. I want to talk about this first. So glad I don't listen to haters. When I first started my food business 15 years ago, I worked for a school district. So many people told me how foolish it would be to start a food business, right? I need to stay with the school district. Just keep making my little 50, 60 grand a year, um, retire when I'm 65, die at 70, right? And just that was my lot in life. And I didn't want that. So I didn't listen to what the average normal people would say or do, the safe, the ones that are always scared of something happening. I'm glad I didn't listen to those haters. And they pounded me. And guess what? They were dead wrong then. And then when my wife and I started a plan to work on our retirement a couple years ago, JEPI, JEPQ, that was the model. That was what we were going after. The amount of money it would take for us to retire and live the way we wanted to live would take me, our plan was 4 to 5 years. Well, I started looking at yield max, and I was a hater. Not gonna lie, I did not understand with the share price declining, even with the dividends. I understood this, that the dividends were outpacing the share price loss, and something like Tesla, when it first came out, I couldn't wrap my head around these whispers of free money, these talks of free money. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Well, thankfully, I found a YouTuber named Kamir, and he had a Discord server, so I went in there and started asking questions respectfully, right, about these funds, and then I was able to wrap my head around how to get the house money. It pays for itself after a certain amount of time, even with the share price loss and dividends dropping month over month. I learned how that was reality. And ever since then, that's all it took. Light switch. And then we started working on our retirement goals. We ditched JEPI and JEPQ and moved in to high yield funds. Now, like I said, it would have taken us 4 to 5, maybe 6 years, worst case, to retire, to even go semi-retired. Now we did it in a year. Even with this, the reason why is because yield max funds are way cheaper, obviously, so you can get more shares than you can of something like JEPI and JEPQ if you're trying to fast track your retirement. In addition to the dividends, obviously, far surpass that. So that gets you to that portion of your investment of the free money. And that is just an integral part of it, right? Because what happens after the initial investment is paid off? What happens? It's not hard to understand this process, but it was for me, admittedly so at the beginning. But once it's paid off, what happens? We are getting there quickly with our account. Nvidia, by the time, sometime halfway through next year, I will be fully paid off. No matter, and what, I will be fully paid off. IWMY, sometime early next year, that will be fully paid off. And who knows, by the, this is why we're in semi-retirement mode. By the time we're fully retired, the year after that, right, AMSI will probably be at that level. Phoebe will probably be at that level. YMAG could possibly be at that level, right? And It's just an incredible feeling to know that I can fast track my retirement with these funds for me and me only. And thank God the haters were wrong, as they usually are. So I got my notes here, so I may look down from time to time. Now, I want to talk about preventative measures, at least the preventative measures we are going to take in our retirement account, as we know some things will happen. The market will drop, and will drop for a prolonged period during our retirement. So preventing and getting ready and preparing for that before it ever happens is critical. So we know this. We know yield max funds will go down over time. We know they'll reverse split, all of them, over time. We know that the dividends will decrease over time. So while we're building and getting ready to get our free money, the key to that is to have a share count first, right? Get to a share count you want and stop putting your own money into it. What we've done during this process is just reinvest 100% of the dividends to get us to that point that much quicker. We quit putting our own money into the high yield portion of our account. Okay, next, buying for this is just our strategy, okay? Buying what we consider market stable funds in addition to the high yield funds, I think, is a way to start mitigating disaster before it even happens. So we have things like SVOL. We will have things like XDTE. That one's brand new. We'll see, but I like the philosophy behind it. Things can change, though, right? So it's about being fluid, baby, and being able to make changes. But XDT makes the cut for us. FEPI makes the cut for us, and probably JEPQ, just because I love it so much, will make the cut for us. These we know, regardless of market conditions, even the market's deteriorating, we know that these will come back through time. These are dip buy opportunities when that happens. And if the market goes down for years, we can still pull the dividends from these 100% if need be. No problems. Now, what about, so that's helping mitigate that loss. Now, what about on the high yield side during a long, prolonged market downtrend? What am I going to do? Well, it's a race to get that free money, right? We're just reinvesting 100% of the dividends, trying to get there as quick as possible before it happens. However, if it does happen, we're still going to be able to pull some dividends, but have to reinvest the rest. If I get to the point where the majority of the funds, not my low yielders, those will take years to be paid off fully, right? We know that that'll take 5 or 6. Well, I won't be making the income then, so way even longer, 10 years maybe, to get those to that, maybe 20, who knows, to get those to that level where those are completely paid off. But those won't be for that. Those will just be for living off of entirely. Okay, back to yield max. If we get to that point where the majority of our yield max funds are 100% paid off, we can pull the dividends 100% if need be. Even though we know the share price will decline, the dividends will decline. So that means the money we're making month over month will be lower over time. We realize that. So we'll just funnel, we'll pull 100% of the dividends, maybe put 20%, and those will be massive dividends. It's going to be a while before it like really hurts us, right? Put some of those dividends into the safer funds, continuing to build those share prices, and live off the yield max portion of our dividend account as long as possible while building up the safer funds in the meantime until something horrible happens. Okay, that's how we're going to play that, in addition to the trading I'll do, which will definitely help offset and mitigate losses. It'll keep a consistent revenue stream coming in while we are retired. And I think with this strategy, we're going to be just fine. I will ride the yield max funds until the wheels fall off. I will ride that free money until there's nothing left to squeeze. All the while building up safer funds, or maybe even possibly getting into newer yield max funds and start over again with one of those and start that process over again. I think with this tactic, we'll be able to live a very long time and live comfortably in years in retirement. But just like anything else, guys, anything can change, and you have to be ready to adapt and change, cut losses, whatever, if need be, and move to different funds to mitigate the loss of revenue that could come month over month. Hope you enjoyed my strategy. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper, out.